Alright. Okay, so I've been asked to do this a ton of times because I'm a weirdo and I don't really like to use ACOGs, but it's been highly requested in streams. So basically I'm just going to show what barrel attachments and setups I run on every single character, because it's like I said, it's a commonly asked question, so we'll just go right to it. And by the way, I don't know why I'm in offline mode. I couldn't get online for some reason, so I'm just going to do this offline mode. On Sledge, I run the reflex or the holographic sight with a flash hider, obviously the grip, and I don't run a laser. So it's Sledge's primary. And then on the SMG-11, I use the reflex or the holo as well, with flash, vertical grip, and a laser. This gun I actually do use the laser on because I like how it makes the spread smaller for hip fires, so it's pretty good for that. Thatcher, I don't play very often, but when I do play him, I use the AR. I use the reflex comp with a vertical grip. Never use the laser, and I don't prefer angle grips, don't really like that. Well, pistols I'm not really going to go over because it's a pistol. On Ash, which is probably the most requested, what I run on it. The thing with Ash is I'm constantly switching what I use on her because I feel like sometimes it's so RNG depending on the day. I don't know why, but it's just how it feels. I switch between either holo compensator or I use reflex flash hider. I never use reflex comp or holo flash. It's always reflex flash or holo comp. I never run laser on it. I used to, but for some reason now when I have it on there, it just feels like it's too big on the gun and it bothers me because I'm weird. I don't ever use the G36. M45, like I said, not really going to go over pistols. Thermite, I use holo comp or reflex comp. Always use the vertical grip, hardly ever use the angle grip, and I don't use the laser. Twitch is always the same loadout every time. It's a reflex flash vertical with a laser. Again, with the laser for this gun, it just seems like the laser adds on a smaller spread to the hip fire, so I like to use that. That's how it feels on a lot of guns that have a high fire rate, to be honest. I'm going to skip Monte, I'm going to skip Glass, skip Fuse because I don't really play them. We'll just go on to IQ because I don't play shields. On IQ, I only use the Commando, and this is actually the only primary gun that I use a muzzle brake on. I use muzzle brake, the reflex, and the vertical grip. I don't like how the holo looks on it. I feel like it's too big on the gun. Look at that. It looks like the gun's all skimpy and just weird looking, so it just doesn't look right, so I don't use that. Angle grip, not really a fan of, so I don't use that. Buck. Now, here's the thing with Buck is I cannot control his recoil, at all, so honestly, I switch this around all the time. I always use holo or reflex on it, and the barrels, honestly, I switch between comp, muzzle, and flash. I don't know which one is better than the other. I don't know which one I can control better. It's just a pure RNG thing, to be honest. I don't know which to use, so I just switch between everything. I don't play Blackbeard, and I just realized that when I'm offline, I own Blackbeard. What the hell? I just realized that. It's kind of cool. Gives you all the ops. On Capital, I use the reflex comp, vertical grip. Don't use the laser on that either. Always use the comp on the para because I feel like the flash hider just makes it jump too much, and muzzle is I don't like muzzle like any gun except for IQ. Habana, I use the compensator, holo. Sometimes I do use ACOG on it, but most of the time it's I'd say 95% of the time it's a holo with a vertical grip. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the angle grip. The reason for the compensator is because I've tested this character specifically with every single barrel, and there's a huge difference between all of them. The compensator has virtually no recoil if you can just pull down a little bit. It doesn't move. Same for the bearing 9. I don't use the holographic on it specifically because there is a misalignment issue that has been, well, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that by now, but there's a misalignment issue with the holographic sight, so I use reflex, comp, and a laser. Like I said, hip fire makes the spread smaller on, it seems high fire rate guns, so I use it on Habana, her secondary. Jackal, I use both of his guns, the PDW and the C7, reflex, comp, vertical grip. Don't ever use the laser. PDW, I use ACOG, comp, vertical, and the laser. Like I said, it's like this already has like a super small recoil spread, but the laser just makes it even smaller. I always use a shotgun, just a reflex and a laser. I don't have it on right now, but that's normally what I use. Ying, I am using, I don't ever use a shotgun. Shotgun's trash. The T95, reflex, comp, vertical. Sometimes I do use the angle grip on this gun, but like I said, the majority of the time it's the vertical grip. The angle grip is like, I don't know what it is, just not a big fan of it. Let's go over the defensive side now. Smoke, always use a shotgun. I don't use a sight or a laser on it, just because I feel like it's good as is. Doesn't really need anything. Like I said, smokes, I've already kind of gone over this with Sledge. I use the hollow, or I use the flash. I mean, I'm sorry, the hollow with the reflex. And same setup, vertical, laser, flash. I don't ever use the FMG on smoke. Here on Mute now, who I've used a few times in Pro League, every now and then. His gun, the thing with Mute, I feel like his gun is super weak. Even though it says it's 30 damage, I feel like it's less. I feel like it does like 22 damage a shot, I don't know. Like, it's just like a BB gun. I use reflex comp with the laser, and the reason for the laser on this, I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know if I actually used the laser in Pro League, but I have it on now, so we're going to assume that I did. Castle, I use UMP, hollow, flash, vertical grip, and the laser, because the UMP has a very small spread when you use the laser for hip fires, and this is a gun you'll probably start hip firing before you start aiming with it, because it has such a low fire rate. Pulse, it's the same thing as Castle. It's just hollow, flash, vertical, laser. Same thing as Castle. Nothing different on Pulse. Dock, I use ACOG, flash, and vertical. I don't really use any other sight on this gun specifically just because it's a 3 armor. And to be honest, the MP5 I don't think is the same gun unless it has an ACOG. Rook, exact same thing. I'll show you guys anyway. It's just ACOG, flash, vertical grip. Pretty similar. I'm going to skip Capcan, Tachanka, because I never play them. We'll go to Jaeger. Jaeger, I use specifically reflex, comp, and vertical. I always use reflex on Jaeger, because like I said, the hollow, I feel like is just like too big on the gun. I don't know. That's how I feel like for a lot of guns. I feel like just the sight is too big for some odd reason, and it bothers me. Sometimes I use the laser on this gun, sometimes I don't. It's just like depends how I feel that day. Bandit's always reflex, comp, laser. When I first switched to PC, I used the hollow on it, but like I said, the hollow just feels so like clunky on some guns that it started to bother me, so I went back to reflex. And the reason I use the laser on this too is because of the high fire rate and the small spread when you hit fire. Frost, sometimes play Frost and like ranked and stuff, so we'll just show Frost. I use the reflex, suppressor, angled, and the laser. The reason for the suppressor is just because it's fun. It's just fun to troll around. The gun sounds cool. People don't know where they're getting shot from. Valkyrie. I'm always asked about Valkyrie. I use, same thing like most guns, reflex, comp, vertical grip. I've tried the flash hider and the muzzle brake on Valkyrie, and I just do not like either of them. It just feels terrible. When you shoot, the muzzle brake jumps everywhere. The flash hider just it feels inconsistent. It feels like it's never like a... I know it's RNG recoil, but the flash hider just stands out the most to me to being like the worst one. It's always changing for whatever reason. Calves, skip Calves because I don't really play her. On Echo, I use either the shotgun or the MP5, but I always have no like sight on the shotgun. Sometimes I use the laser, sometimes I don't. Just depends. The MP5, I always use the reflex vertical grip with the laser, high fire rate. So not really high fire rate, but I don't know. Just feels like it's I guess got a small spread. Same thing as Habana, reflex, comp, laser for the bearing 9. What am I missing? Mira. Okay, I've got like 2 more ops to go. Mira, I use the Vector, obviously, with reflex, comp, vertical, laser. This is a perfect example. Super low damage, super high fire rate. It turns the gun into a laser with a laser when you hit fire. The gun is crazy. The thing about this gun is if you don't hit the headshot, there's a low chance you'll get the kill. But because of the high fire rate, the first shot you normally take is probably going to hit them in the head, just because it's got RNG recoil as well. Like I said, use a shotgun. Sometimes use laser on it, sometimes I don't. Just depends. And we have Lesion and Ella left. Lesion I don't really play that often. I think he's a good operator. He's just like, I don't enjoy playing him. I just feel like he's kind of like a boring operator, but he brings a good like ability to the team if you want to use him. But reflex comp, laser, decent fire rate, it's like average damage. This gun's pretty good if you can hit the first couple shots. Now Ella, we all love Ella. She's not OP at all. Super OP. I use reflex comp, vertical grip, and a laser. If you've played Ella, you know she's got a super small spread with a super high fire rate and decent damage. It's 28, but with the fire rate makes up for it, and she's a 3-speed with a 51 mag. It's just absurd. She's crazy. You guys all know how Ella is OP. But yeah, that's basically what I run on all my operators. Video's been asked for a lot in the stream. I know it's not like super high quality and stuff like that, but you know what I mean? It's how it's gonna be for now, because I'm still learning how to do this stuff. But there's all my attachments. Hope you guys enjoyed. I think that you guys will start enjoying the frag montages a little bit better within the next season, because I've got a lot better clips. But if there's any specific videos you guys like want to see outside of like frag montages and stuff, let me know. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed.